said, Cam Porter arm looking buffed out, look like he about to smack some boxing content creators again. he gonna muff somebody, man.
You did catch me in here doing my thing, so I'm actually in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually in here doing my thing. You know, so
you ready for anybody that gonna come up, any boxing content creators, any independent media? Because we already know what you can do, man. You're gonna be mushing people's face. You're gonna be.
There's an old saying where I come from. What's understood doesn't have to be explained.
Am I the meanest?
Punsh Drunk.
Am I the prettiest?
Punsh Drunk.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Punsh Drunk.
Well, who am I?
Punsh Drunk.
Who am I?
Punsh Drunk.
I can't hear you.
Punsh Drunk, a.k.a. Mr. Moonshine himself.
Of Harlem.
Who's that? Is that Ken? Ken Porter?
That's gonna be.
Huh? One of the best trainers out there? Huh? OG in the building?
It's triple OG to you.
Triple OG. Triple G. What's good, man? How you been? You're looking strong, looking Diesel out here, man. Looking like Debo out here.
Quick funny story. About 6 weeks ago, I went to a private party. I was invited to somebody's birthday party, and Debo was there. It was
Tiny.
Yeah, he was there, and he was sitting on the couch. And every time I walked by the dude, he would mumble some shit or try to start some shit with me.
Oh yeah,
right. And I knew he was trying to be funny, but I ignored it all night long because I ain't want no problems. Every time I walk by, you're like, I know you. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep walking. Let me keep walking.
Now, come on, but you the MMA guy. You the real Debo. See, he's an actor. He's an actor.
Yeah. I'll take his ankle out.
Exactly.
I break his big toe.
You stop on it.
Well, thank you for having me on, man. What's going on?
Hey, man, just here, man, chopping it up, man. There's a lot of stuff in the sport of boxing. We were just chopping it up with Demetrius Andrade and how his career is going. You know, we feel like it's probably business-wise, it's been a letdown. He has so much potential.
You know what? And let me say this, and no knock against Demetrius. He's one of my guys. I've known him since he's 14 years old. But damn, they be making some decisions over there that it just makes no sense. And then after the fact, when all of this happens to you, literally, right now he can look back at everything that's happened. And dude, you got nobody. Y'all gotta look at yourselves, because y'all making these decisions. Because it wasn't like with them, it wasn't like they came in this, with no notoriety or didn't have a big, strong amateur career and weren't successful. They had all that. So they've been in control of the things that they decided to do.
Okay.
So
you think so with Demetrius, you think it was more self-inflicted than anything else?
Well, if you come into the professional boxing and you've been an Olympian, you've been a national champion, and you've beaten all these guys that you've had these decisions, you've done all of these things in the world championships. You got a gold medal in the world championships. I was there. The gold medal in the world championships, right? Yes. And 2000, right. So you got all of this and you got all these accolades, and then you come in and you make your own deals. You make your own moves. Mm-hmm. And when things don't work out, really, it has to be, you gotta say it's self-inflicted. So I hope things get better for them, that they, just, maybe sever ties and make better decisions. Because at this point, like, his career has not fulfilled the potential. He should have been, pound for pound. He is pound for pound in my eyes, its abilities,
Yeah, yeah.
but for the masses, for everybody that's watching, he hasn't been a household name, and that goes back to decisions. You get to. This is one of my quotes. You get to choose the choices, but you don't get to choose the consequences.
True. So what's new with you? What's the new operation, boss? What's the new operation? Triple G, triple OG. What's the new operation? How's Shawn? When is he gonna get back in the ring? Or what you got? What you got cooking up?
With him, real quick, I just seen his name pop up on my phone, so he's texting me right now as I'm speaking to you. He just took a deal with NBC Sports to be their lead analyst.
That's what's
He's
up.
already with Fox Sports, and Fox agreed to allow him to do things with NBC. So he's working for both networks now. Last week, he did both networks. One Thursday night, I think, was NBC, and then Saturday night was Fox Sports. He leaves either.
He had a busy week. He worked on Wednesday.
Yeah. He was in LA all week. He was in a bubble all week, and he worked with both. He was in LA and he worked with both networks. And then he leaves next week. I think next Tuesday for the Errol Spence
Danny Garcia.
Garcia fight. He's doing Fox Sports down there on a pay per view. He's training. He was training last night at my house. I was actually watching him remotely.
Okay, okay.
Working out. I saw that. I saw his workout last night because I can watch things going on in my house from a
He still
camera.
got the he still got the hunger. He still got the hunger. Huh?
Oh yeah. He's been sparring. He had been sparring over the last few weeks. He'd been sparring, running, doing all the things he does with Coach Wade as well. So, we're waiting to see what happens with Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. Also, he's the WBO #1 mandatory for Curtis Crawford.
And WBC, right?
Yeah. IBF, the WBC, so we're waiting to see who wins that with those two guys. And then, we got the Terence Crawford situation, which is a great position for Shawn to be in. An opportunity to fight Crawford or an opportunity to fight the winner of Garcia, Spence, and then also the opportunities that he's created for himself with the networks now, and he's doing television. He's in a great position. So he's just working, and then he's training in the midst of all of that. And so I started doing some different things, but I've been doing things undercover for quite a while, just helping a young man by the name of Malik Montgomery. And
Say it again. Say it again. Get a little closer.
Yep. I've been helping a young man by the name of Malik Montgomery. He came over to Team Porter, and I've known Malik since 2015. And so it's taken me this long to actually come together. Which I'm just one of those people who don't move very fast on things. I'm not going to jump on something and not know what's going on. So
Yeah.
even though we met in 2015, he was a National Golden Glove champion, two-time National Golden Glove champion, finished second in the Olympic trials to T.O. Fought T.O.
Okay.
twice. Yeah, he fought T.O. twice that week. Got, numerous international competition. His career got stalled, with some contract situations. And a year ago, he came to me and said, "Hey, can you help?" We worked on it for the last year to get him out of the situation, but he got freed up from him. And he just had his return fight last Saturday in Tampa. And he fought a young man by the name of UC Johnson, and he won a second round knockout. I'm fast tracking him right now. He's 5-0 with 5 knockouts. So we're going to
That's
go right back in the ring December 17th. And then we're also scheduled to go back in February 25th. If I can get some in January, I'll take that as well.
That's
So
what's up. That's what's moving on. Another knockout artist, developing another
yeah,
knockout artist.
yeah, he can punch. He can punch, and he listens well. He works really hard. I've already seen him on Instagram working out, hitting the bag and things. As soon as he got home, saying no days off.
That's
But
what's up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And,
How is it? Is it difficult for you to try to how would you train? You know, because some people be like there can only be one Shawn Porter. I mean, it's not a lot of guys you could compare Shawn Porter with. So when they see you training, are you trying to turn him into that type of style, or you cater to what he does best and you work around that? How do
Nah,
you?
you give me a tall kid that is left-handed. I train him like he's tall and left-handed. You know,
Okay, all right.
you give me a small kid that's fast and moving around the ring because he's got great lateral movement. That's the way we box. We box that way. Just so happens that Malik, well before me, and he's known, through the amateurs as a pressure fighter. So he was already fighting that way before we ever got together. It had absolutely nothing to do with me. The way he fights at this point is what he's been taught. I'm just trying to enhance the things that he does well, make him better at them, and the things that may not be as good at, improve those. So he has a fight style that someone may look and say, "Oh, he got him fighting like Shawn Porter." No, not at
Mm,
all. He's been a pressure fighter his whole entire amateur career.
okay.
He's been that guy. How well that translates in the pros, we'll see. There's a lot more that you have to be able to do on fight night in a 10-round fight than you have to do in a 3-round amateur fight or a 12-round fight in comparison to a 3-round amateur fight. So we got a lot of work to do, but we got a lot to work with.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
That's promising. That's promising.
yeah, 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 yeah. And then also, there's these two kids,
Tell him.
the
Tell him.
Martinez brothers from Dominican Republic, and I've already told you about these guys. Yuri and Hendry, two brothers who are on the Dominican national team and represented them in the Pan Am Games. Um, these two young men look to be the next two guys that I will be working with that have the potential to be big in professional boxing.
Yep.
One of them is fighting or will be fighting where anywhere between 130 to 135 pounds, and the other one will be fighting anywhere between 147 to 154, which would be welterweight to junior middleweight or super welterweight, take your pick, however you want to look at it. And most importantly, with me and them is the relationship that we've been building, the bond that we've been building. I've been over to the DR to see them and do some things with them, and then we stayed in communication via text message, via videos, like conferences you and I are having right now.
Yeah.
The most important thing is the bond that we're building and the character that these young men have. You can see that even though there is a separation because of
Language barrier.
language barrier, but you
Yeah.
can see that they come from a family, or their father trained them for most of their lives. They come from a family structure of love and
Yeah.
respect, and
Hmm.
so that's the most important thing. And I look forward to getting them over here soon. Hopefully, the beginning of next year, which will be right around the corner. We're
Yeah.
working on the process. So I've actually, been in contact with them and you. So, a little bit about them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I think that's good future, man. I think they're gonna have a good future if they, they focus, dedicated, listen to, um, you and listen to the team that have gotten that's been very successful and the elite level. So I'm happy. I'm happy for them. I'm happy. I'm happy for the whole team. I'm happy for the whole team. Um,
Yeah. it's a great situation to be in. For example, and it goes without saying, but for example, the other night, they screenshot, they're watching a fight,
All right.
Javier Fortuna.
Yeah. Javier Fortuna versus Lozano.
Right, they take a picture of it, and Sean's calling the fight.
Yeah.
And they send it to me. They send me the picture, to let me know that they're watching the fight. And then Sean is, the person that's calling the fight.
Yeah.
That's a great mentor for them. You couldn't get a better situation in terms of a mentor, in terms of somebody that has won world championships, in terms of someone who's transitioning to another profession out of boxing, but also someone who's right there, still number one to fight for championships. I couldn't script it any better than that. And then,
Exactly.
all right, and then I got this other kid who's 5-0 with 5 knockouts, who was a top-rated amateur, finishing second to Tio Lopez in the Olympic trials, who has the ability to now work with the other brother, who Henry, who is 132, 135 pounds, as he's transitioning to the professional ranks. This kid is 5 fights ahead of him. He has the ability to work with him and bring him and raise his levels. So, both of these guys, this is just a really good situation for all of us. I'm actually, if anybody's out there listening right now, I'm actually looking for another young 154-pounder who has the potential to be great and believes in himself, to come in and work with the brother who is at 147 and 154. I'm gonna really put some work into finding somebody out there. There's somebody out there to do that, because I want to groom them together and have them push each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And moving vertically this way, so they'll be pushing each other. So this is an excellent situation for everybody that's involved.
What do you feel about who you got? Earl Spence versus Danny Silva Garcia. It's two guys that your son been in the ring with, knows very well. You know very well because you study them to lead up to your son fighting them. Who you got in that fight?
You know, I'm starting to sound like a tape recording on this part, and I've heard other people say it, but it's just it is the first thing we're all looking for. We need to know how much the accident has affected Errol Spence. If the accident hasn't affected him and he's 100%, then I believe Errol Spence wins the fight, and he's going to look good doing it. Is it an easy fight for him? By no stretch of the imagination. No. Danny Garcia is a great fighter, and Danny Garcia has the ability on any given night to beat anybody in the welterweight weight class. I believe that.
Yeah, I believe that too.
If we are looking at Errol Spence not 100%, Danny Garcia has much more than a chance to win this fight, and he has the ability to put guys to sleep.
Yeah.
He has the ability to look good doing that. As a matter of fact, he won't even look at you when he's doing it. They don't look hook. And he's a great puncher. And so I know him and his dad. I've known them since the amateurs. Of course, we've been in the ring against them in the pros. They're going to be ready. They're going to be gunning for this kid, Errol Spence on fight night. I actually will be leaving the day before the weigh-ins next Thursday. I'm headed to Dallas.
Yeah, that's what it is. But you know what it is about the matchup, because before the accident, I even had that matchup 55-45 Earl Spence. But the thing is that if anybody thought that Earl Spence was in another level or Bud Crawford was in another level, to me, Shawn Porter has humbled the whole 147 pounds top elite fighters. So we saw the split decision where there's a lot of people thought that your son beat Earl Spence. So that invincibility, the boogeyman, your son took care of that. And he had, a lot of people, there's people that felt that he beat Thurman. There a lot of people felt that it was close with Ugas. There was close with Danny. So your son has humbled everybody in the 147-pound division and the fans that made it now that anybody could actually beat one another in any given day in the top of the welterweight chain. That's what I think Shawn Porter did. You know, so
I
I
never,
see it.
I never thought about that way until you just broke it down, and I can't argue with the logic. It makes perfect sense. As I look at the landscape of the welterweight division, and you named it just like that, and then sometimes get caught up in the fact that we are just fighters or trainers, and we're doing what we're doing just to be the best we can, but not necessarily looking at the whole entire architecture of what's going on. You just broke it down that way, and Shawn has been in there with all those guys.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's, when we see, they be like, well, Earl Spence is this. Well, he went to war with Shawn Porter. But Keith Thurman is this. Well, he went to war with Shawn Porter. Well, Danny Garcia is this. Well, Shawn Porter beat. So it's like he's leveled everybody else, because now everybody's gauging everybody's performance because of Shawn Porter. Now, if Shawn Porter would have lost and probably would have got stopped by Earl Spence, then people would have been like, yo, Shawn Porter never got stopped. Earl Spence is the guy. But that's not the Earl Spence looked like a average. Your son made him look like an average fighter, not the boogeyman, not the guy that people don't want to fight. You know? So I think the welterweight division is very good. I just think that people are so glued into Bud and Spence that they forget about what's really going on. Because if I see Bud versus Shawn Porter, can anybody say that, yeah, Bud is going to get Porter? Nah.
Well, you know what? Give us the opportunity. We just want the opportunity.
Y'all want that fight?
I think Bud is a great fighter. Just give us the opportunity. Give us the chance to get in there with him and see what it's all about. And for me, and I think I'm pretty sure I can speak for Shawn in this situation as well. I told him a long time ago, what made Duran, Leonard, Hearns, Hagler great was each other. Those guys made each other great, right? And I never said, by no stretch of imagination, that this era of fighters would have beat those guys or was as good as those guys.
Yeah.
To a man, no. But as a whole, as a unit, this is our era. And in order to be even in the same conversation, years from now, you had a Hearns, Leonard, Hagler, Duran. You had a Porter, Thurman, Spence, Garcia, Crawford. They have to fight each other.
Yeah.
If they don't fight each other, you can't have the conversation.
Yep.
Right.
But it's happening. I think it's already happened if you look at it.
It's happening
without
Shawn,
Bud.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to say that, right? So we don't want to leave here until we get a Bud Crawford, a rematch with an Errol Spence, a rematch with a Keith Thurman, right? Then we can say, hey, we did what we could do. It happened the way it went. Win, lose, draw, no matter what, right? It's time, for us to move on to the next phase of the career. But you've got to get in there with these people. And we just want that conference. We just want that opportunity. You got to get in there with these people to be in that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, Shawn, your son, y'all might have a couple L's, but the fans are leaving out of that arena cheering. So his stock never drops. It's like people come out of that fight saying he's the winner most of the time. That's crazy.
When we fought Keith Thurman, we walked to the ring, and it was the first time ever we walked to a ring, amateur, pro, ever. And we got booed. We were getting booed. Kid is from the East Coast, Florida, in New York, right? And people from New York, when they retire, they move to Florida. So that's what they do, right? So he's from the East Coast. So we walk into the ring and they just booing us. I'm like, booing you. You hear that? He's like, yeah, that's never happened before. We walked out of that ring.
Getting cheered.
They booed the decision. They booed the decision when it went Keith's way. Cheered for Shawn all the way out of the ring. Whatever you want to look at, however you want to look at it. So we know we did what we could do. We did something right. We did something great, you know. And I've seen this before. Not one person that we fought has ever considered giving us a rematch. Not one person. Not one of those guys. We fought Kell Brook. He got a decision. We got dropped out of the top 25 at the IBF. And Kell Brook went on to fight. 3 out of his next 4 fights was against PBC fighters, but he never fought us. 3 out of the next 4 guys were PBC fighters, but he never fought us. And he lost the title to a PBC fighter, right? Yeah. But we were taken out of the top 25. How do you get knocked out of the top 25 and you were just champion 6 weeks ago?
You still holding a grudge with the IBF?
Same thing with Keith Thurman. You know, we don't know what Keith's doing. Nobody really knows what Keith's doing. And then now we got Errol Spence. Fight of the year last year, Errol. He'd make that rematch, right? But there was no way in hell he would have rematched Shawn after that accident. Ain't no way.
I said Cam Porter arm looking buffed out, look like he about to smack some boxing content creators again. he gonna muff somebody, man.
You did catch me in here doing my thing, so I'm actually in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually in here doing my thing. You know,
so you ready for you know anybody that gonna come up, any boxing content creators, any independent media? Because we already know what you can do, man. You're gonna be mushing people's face. You're gonna be.
There's another old saying where I come from. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. So, you know, we don't have to get into no details or anything like that. But
no, of course.
I heard a guy say, he said, what was you thinking about? This man eat, sleep, drink, assault. This is what you do every day, all day, right? And how could you think that just because you talk about this, you could actually deal with this situation? So to say the least, yeah, I'm quite sure that anybody that is out there in the world that, you know, thinks that they just gonna run up on, Danny Garcia or run up on a Shawn Porter or run up on a Deontay Wilder, they're gonna find out that it ain't as easy as you look at it on TV. And if they run up on some of these trainers, they're gonna find out that, you know, that's not the thing to do. It's not gonna work out well. You know what I mean? So 2020 made 30 years of me being involved with professional boxing. 2020 made 30 years. Even before that, I was an amateur boxer. And then, you know, after the amateurs, I went into kickboxing. And after kickboxing, I did what they now call MMA. And I wasn't getting paid no kind of money. I was dealing with all this kind of stuff with, you know, elbows and takedowns and shit, and getting counted out $1,000. And here you go. And then you still got to pay for your gas and your hotel and everything else out of the $1,000. I was like, nah, I'm gonna stick with the job. I have a job with a 401k plan, and I know what the check is every week. I'll stick with this, but
but Mike Tyson got that legacy fight. You could get back on. He got that legacy thing. You feel me? You can get it in. You can get it in, Ken. Call somebody out.
I used to work out in the same place with Mike in the mornings, and he would come in. And he would get on a treadmill, and he'd walk in. He said, "Hi, Shawn." And I'd be like, "Mike, I'm Shawn's dad." "Hi, Shawn's dad." and Mike was on this treadmill every day. And I'm like, "Mike, what's going on, man? You getting ready for something? You never know. You never know. You never know. So, we look up 4 or 5 years later, and now he's getting ready to fight Roy Jones Jr. And I just don't know what to make of that, because like part of me is like, I don't want to see Roy get hurt.
So you more worried about Roy?
I don't want to see Roy get hurt, because I've seen Roy get, I don't want Roy to get hurt. But then the other part of me is like, I don't want Roy to rip off no fast stuff on Mike and make Mike look bad.
Yeah. I felt the same way too.
Mike be eating about 6, 7 punches, something, Roy ripping off stuff, and then Mike come back with a, oh man. So I don't know, man. I don't know. And then now I just read something that said they're not going to have professional judges judging the fight.
Yo, they said they're gonna have professional judges. If somebody get cut, the fight is over. If somebody nobody can knock nobody out. I think that the California Athletic Commission is doing a bad job selling it. Like Tyson and Roy is trying to sell it, but then every time they selling it, California Athletic Commission comes with this. No, it's just an exhibition. They just need to let them sell the fight.
So when we say exhibition, now are we talking how many rounds? What are we doing?
It's 8 rounds, 2 minutes. 2 minutes each round. 8 rounds. Let's go, Ken. I think you back, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yo, sign up. 8 rounds, 2 minutes.
8 rounds, 2 minutes?
Yep. That's good, right?
Where do I sign up?
That's what I'm talking about. See?
DocuSign? Can I just DocuSign on my phone?
Well, he said there's gonna be like a constant event. Like he's just gonna do it. Like it's just not a one event thing. I think that Mike Tyson, because is what's it called? The Legends Only. You need to get up on that, Ken.
That shit crazy, man. You see how much energy I got right there when you said 2 minutes? 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. I can hold my breath. 2 minutes.
Who would you want in the ring? Who you want in the ring? You got to pick somebody. Just pick one. Legends Only. Cam Porter versus
Tarver.
Antonio Tarver.
Look, I shouldn't say that. I'm in Florida.
Hey,
I'm right down the street from Tarver right now.
Look, hey, but if people know your history, then people will be like, I. If people don't know your history, then people will be like, nah. But if people know that you are a martial artist and you did combat fighting.
You see, I stay ready. I stay ready. I don't stop. And then I got this one special move that I use.
Let me see it again. Let me see. What's the special move that you use? Yo, we got. What's the move? We gotta call it. We gotta give it a name. A mush, a smush, what? Yo, look, Ken, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real.
You had a toothpick; it didn't even come out your mouth, and you just pimp smacked him like this.
Yo, I'm gonna keep it real, Ken. I'd rather get punched in the face by a dude, but to get mushed and smacked, that's like humiliating. Just punch me in the face, man.
Yeah,
you did some humiliating. Stuff.
You know what happened when I saw him freeze, when I saw him shit bricks, like literally just, oh my God, oh no, I'm not ready. No, dude, you see me come down 50 steps. How are you not ready? Dude, you see me come all the way down. How are you not ready? you got to be ready because you said you was ready all the time, every time, right?
Yeah.
And then when I got right there and I said, you know what? You hit this boy with his right hand that you've been practicing for 30 years, with this right hand that you've been teaching other people to throw for 30 years, with this right hand that you've been curling all these damn years, with this right hand that you done put plenty folks on their ass with. You let that punch go, and it's going to be all bad. So in the midst of the movement, I just want to say, you know what? I know there's nothing here. There's no foundation. There's nothing to stand on. There's nothing here. And nothing from nothing is going to leave nothing. So I just went and opened up my hand because,
He got the.
it would have been an all bad situation, a very bad situation.
Can you show us that move again? Can you just show? Can you show us? You're a bad boy. Yo, you know that's like a classic. Like people will never stop talking about that.
They probably won't, but I mean, where I come from.
Yo, you should see the comment box right now. Like if you, they just.
How do you find it? Can I look at the comment box? How do we?
Yeah, you could press comment. But I'll look at it later because then you're just gonna be stuck looking at the comments. That's what everybody's mentioning right now. Everybody like.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't care who you are, where you're from, or anything else. You know what I mean? Well, like I said, people understand other people, and they know there's certain things that you can't do with certain people, and you recognize that. So, like when I walked in the room. And I seen Debo and he started talking shit to me. I said, nah, I'm messing with him. I'm going to just keep walking. When I had to go get something else to eat and he was talking more shit, I just kept on walking by. Because there's certain people you just don't work with. And even though you said, oh, he's just an actor, in my mind, you know what? He might just be an actor. But if this moved to any kind of levels, I know me.
Yeah.
And then that means some shit's going to go bad.
Yeah, I understand that. Sometimes you gotta walk away to protect yourself, like because if you snap, ain't nobody gonna be able to stop this.
If you saw me with a bodyguard, I don't have that bodyguard to protect me. He's here to protect you
from you.
Yeah. If only by the grace of God, and I'm thankful and I'm humble and I'm appreciative. That he instilled something in me and said, you ain't gonna drink, you ain't gonna smoke, you ain't gonna do drugs, you're gonna raise these boys, you're gonna be a single father, you're gonna raise them up, and you're not gonna go to prison, you're not gonna get killed. Right? Because all of these things was on the table for me. When I sat down to eat in the morning, just pick one. Okay, where you wanna go today, Kenny? Jail? What do you wanna do today, Kenny? Drugs? You wanna be a drug dealer today? You wanna carry a gun today? You wanna shoot somebody today? You want to go to jail today? You want to go to prison today? Right? My mother told me every day of my life growing up, you'll be dead or in jail before you're 21. It wasn't until I was 21 that I started to realize when I went to meet her on my birthday, I turned 21, a little birthday dinner, she said, well, you made it. I said, made it what? She said, made it to be 21. I didn't think you would.
Wow.
And that's when I looked at her as nicely as I could say, because my mother wanted nobody to play with. She would whip out something, cut you down real quick.
That's that old school. That's that old school tough love.
That's I was born and raised in that ghetto, in that place, in that horrible situation like that. So fighting was every day for me. I was getting paid to fight for shit. Before I started junior high school, I was 12 years old. Phone calls would come in and say, hey, ask him if you want to come over and make $20 to whoop somebody's ass. And I jump in the car with my mother was the one driving.
Wow.
This way, but
I never heard that story.
Oh yeah, it's true, dude. It's true. It's true. It's true. And so it wasn't until I was 21 I looked at her and I said, I wasn't trying to be mean. I didn't want to mess up this little birthday gathering because, she'd come out of her mouth and she'll say something to me, and it'd be like real bad. And I was like, yeah, did you ever, you said I'll be dead or in jail before I'm 21, but did you ever stop to think maybe it was the way you was raising me, where you raised me at, the people you had around me, the things that you were doing, and the things that were going on? So I made sure that my children were never raised in those environments and never dealt with those type of situations. I always, in my mind, and thankful again to God, because he saved my life. And I'm just humbled and I'm appreciative and just thankful that he chose me to live this life. But again, I always thought I'm going to put my kids in a position that wherever they're at, when they turn this way, or that way, wherever they're at, they're in a position that they can excel. Yeah. And they got people around them that can help them excel.
I love the father and son camaraderie. You and Shawn, T.O. and his dad, Devin and Bill, May Senior and his son. I love that, because I always say it on my channel that in boxing, fatherhood is prominent in the sport of boxing. Like where we come from, in unfortunate backgrounds, you hear in the community, fatherless child, or father absence. But when you look at boxing, that's all you see. It's father. Virgil Ortiz's dad. Is just a bunch of great fathers molding their sons, not just to be fighters, but to be great young men, in society. And they all good kids. Look at Shawn, good, and T.O. good, and Devin and Ryan Garcia is like, they're just good human beings. Yeah, and y'all the OGs. Y'all went through all the mistakes. y'all all went through the mistakes for them.
It's true. We've already worn the shoes that they have to wear. We've already walked this path, on a lot of levels. It is big now. It wasn't big when Shawn was growing up. I didn't see a lot of fathers. Yeah. I happened to be that guy that coached hundreds and thousands of kids, and we didn't see a lot of fathers, early on, there was just a few. I remember, of course, Demetrius Andre's dad.
Yeah, and shout out to the late Tony Harrison's father that passed away.
Yeah. Good people there, from not too far from down the road from where I grew up at, and we used to go up and down that road to Detroit to fight all the time. Get there in about 3.5 hours, and Shawn was going to the Kronk gym all the time to fight. So yeah, it's big now, and it's huge. It shows that we can do this, and it can be done, and we can be successful at it. And not to take anything away from any other father that has his kid in any other sport, or any father that is just supporting his son, just in academics or anything in life that they're doing together. Not to take away from that, but when you're on a big stage and everybody sees you and sees the success that you have on that night, it actually gives you the opportunity to speak to other kids and help them, or to speak to other fathers and help them to help their kids. So, people would interview me, and over the years, they've always asked the question, it's like, it's got to be really hard to train your son. How hard is it training your son? And they say the father-son combination doesn't work, and all this, these kind of things like this. And so, how do you separate the two? And, how do you make it work and all this? Well, this is my opinion. Everybody got their own, right? And that's what boxing is. Boxing is based on opinions. Boxing is not based on you shoot the shot, it goes in the hoop, and then we get a point. Or you throw the touchdown, the guy catches it, runs it in the end zone, and we got a touchdown. It's not based on that. It's based on somebody's opinion of what they see in the ring, and what they decide to write down on that piece of paper. We give him a 10, we give him a 9. That's it. That's what it's based on. It's based on your opinion, watching from your home, or even from the stands, on what you saw and what you think is going on, and who you think the winner is, right?
True.
So this is just my opinion. Everybody's got one. But this is from experience of training so many kids for so many years in so many situations, from the inner city to regionals to national tournaments to international tournaments to Pan Am games to world championships to camps that I ran at colleges. I had the Charlo brothers when they was 13, 14 years old at Northern Michigan University at summer camp boxing. I go back way far with all of these guys on so many levels. I watched Andre Ward win the Silver Gloves when he was 15 years old.
Mm.
These kind of things that I was a part of. So I learned.
Adrian Broner.
Knowing Adrian since he's 8 years old. So they say, how do you separate the two from being a father and training the son and being a boxer and being a father and being a trainer? And how do you separate them? You don't. You don't separate them. The closest that you could ever be to a young man in helping him to become a great boxer and a great person, the closest relationship you could ever have is that one of a father to a son. That is the relationship that you are looking for and that you're working on and that you're bonding and building to be, so that when he goes in that ring, you're an extension of him. And what he's doing in that ring, he believes in everything you're saying so that he can be successful.
Yeah.
You're not trying to be his best friend. You are not trying to be his homie. You're not trying to be his party friend that y'all go out to the club. You can't be those things. What you are striving for is trainer and father figure.
Yeah, true.
And hopefully you give him the insight and the intelligence to not just be successful in the boxing ring, but outside the ring as a father would do to his son.
Yeah.
So there's not really a time when you're trying to separate that, other than when there's negativity. You don't want to be a part of that. You can't be a part of that. And I've seen coaches who become the buddy and the friend and the boy and the homie. No, you don't be successful. You're not going to be successful. It's going to stop. It's going to stop somewhere. Y'all going to meet a point where y'all looking at each other, and he's going to look at you and he's going to be saying the things he's saying, and you looking at him. And so, why are you talking to me? I'm talking to you that way because you're my boy. Yeah, you don't talk to dad that way.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't act that way towards dad. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, at the end of the day, the greatest job I've ever had was being a father. That's it. I don't have a better one. If you ask me what if you asked me what I wanted to be when I was growing up, I would have told you a veterinarian. So I love dogs and love animals and I love to train dogs. Well, I grew up and I trained men to be a dog in the ring, but that's right. As close as we get to that.
Now they're gonna say, "Yo, this guy trained his son to be a dog." They go edit and flip it.
Right?
What you know what I hate? You know what I hate? Because I also coach my son in basketball, right? So I know you get this because I've gotten it at an early age already. They say you're probably trying to train your kid so they could live what they say
living vicariously through your son.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm already hearing that now. My son is 13, and I'm hearing that now because I play collegiate ball. So what do you say about the people that say that about you and other fathers in boxing? What do you feel about that?
Well, and actually, I can't speak for nobody else. And again, we go back to opinions. In actuality, the son is being like me. I'm not being like him. He's not training me. He's not teaching me things. I'm teaching him.
True.
Right? True. So I'm not living through him. I'm giving back to him.
Exactly.
Trust and believe. And I'm going to cut it right here and then just give you the quick visual. My son was born in the inner city of Cleveland as well. On one end of his street was drugs. On the other end of his streets was drugs and people killing each other. And then on the other end of the street was pimps and prostitution, right? If I was an absent father and wasn't there in his life, there's a good chance that when he got to growing up and had to go to school in this neighborhood, in this area, he was going to come in contact with these situations and they weren't going to be good situations for him.
Yeah.
If he escaped the drugs and then become a drug addict, there's a great possibility that he would have sold drugs. If he escaped selling drugs, there's a great possibility that he had got into some type of altercation with a drug dealer. If he escaped the alcohol and the violence of everything that was going on around him, there's still a great chance that growing up, where he was growing up at, having two older brothers, the brothers would have been involved. If the brothers involve themselves in any kind of way with it and become successful drug dealers and making money and come back home and they got nice things and the little brother doesn't have anything, more than likely, he's going to start getting involved. So it's just the way life is and the way things were. If I wasn't there, there's a great chance that these bad things could have and would have happened. It's only by the grace of God that I didn't succumb to it, but I was born into all of it. And I was a part of all of it, right? So I look at a father that is there coaching in basketball. A father, I coach Pee Wee football. I coached my boys from football all the way up till they got to high school. And then I turned down a high school job because I knew everybody was going to say, all he does is give his son the ball. I knew that, right?
Yeah.
Well, what happens with the high school coach that's coaching Shawn? All he did was give Shawn the ball.
Exactly.
They won games, and everybody was happy. If they didn't win the game, you know what they said? Man, he need to get the ball to somebody else. All he do is give the ball to Shawn. But then there was always the argument, well, Shawn don't have no help. He needs some more help, right? So you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. You just keep doing what you do, and you don't listen to it. So I had a rule when I was coaching Pee Wee football all the way up to high school. I had a rule. And all my assistant coaches had to follow that same rule. We never look back. No matter what they're yelling, no matter what they're saying, we never look back. Because if you look back and you have eye contact with a parent, that gives him an opportunity to say, put my son in, or do this, or do that. What you doing? Or why did you call that player?
I get that too.
And now you're in it with him.
Yeah.
So we never look back. We never look back. That was the rule. Anybody look back, you're in trouble. You're in trouble because you got us all in trouble now. So as you're coaching, as you're training, as you're doing anything with your son, whatever sport you're involved in, this is all the fathers. Never look back. Don't look back.
Yep.
You got to defend whatever you got going on at that time. If you look back there. So never look back. Keep moving forward with your son. Basketball, sports, academics, anything you're dealing with, whatever that might be, relationships, just keep moving forward with it. Don't look